All right, Molly, you're good to go.
Great, thank you. Good morning. So welcome everybody to our official April meeting of the Outreach and Engagement Committee. Stephanie, would you do a roll call, please?
Of course, good morning. Ava Bermuda Zimmerman.
Present.
Issa Canada will not be joining us today. Adrian Cochran. Adrian has not joined us yet. Sheila Hummel. Sheila Hummel has not joined us. Molly Weston Williamson.
Present.
And Justin Zartman.
Present.
Okay, we do not have a quorum.
Thank you, Stephanie. So since we do not have a quorum, we will not do any voting until and unless we come up with a quorum. At this time, I want to acknowledge any members of the public who wish to identify themselves but are not required to do so. We've got a small crew today. Okay, so we will skip the next item on the agenda, which is review and approval of the March minutes, since we don't have a quorum, and head straight into our outreach and engagement update. So Jessica, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
We can see your screen, Jess.
All right, thank you. So a quick update today since, oh, you know what? Do you want me to pause? Because I see that Sheila just entered.
That would be great.
Okay.
Good morning, Sheila.
Good morning.
Morning.
Do we procedurally need to do something to acknowledge that we have a quorum now?
I think you just did. So
Okay.
we can, and we haven't really moved anywhere. So we can just go ahead
we officially acknowledge that we have a quorum. So we're going to go back to item 2 on the agenda, which is review and approval of the March 16th meeting minutes. Any discussion of the meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion from Justin,
Second.
thank you. Second from Ava, thank you. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I believe the ayes have it. And now we will throw it back to Jessica for our update.
All right, thank you. Let's try this again. All right, so a short update today, just because we had the board meeting last week and I shared a lot of information with you. So a couple things that I did not touch on, just wanted to give an update on our most recent newsletters from the month of March. We had one for HR professionals that went out, one for TPAs, and then we also did some specific outreach to folks that use the batch process to make payments, just about some different messages they might have been receiving when they were trying to submit those payments. So great open rates, anywhere between 31 and 39%, with between a 2 and 5% click rate. I always like to keep an eye on this just to make sure that the information we're putting out there is still relevant, that we're still engaging the audience, and like to share that information with you as well. Next up, I wanted to just kind of follow up. You heard me mention in the board meeting that a couple of weeks ago, Nancy and I went up to the Hartford Armory and we presented to the Joint Resiliency Directorate of the National Guard. So the National Guard is trying to bring all of the resources for the various branches sort of under one umbrella, and have all the services and programs that are available for military National Guard members and their families sort of accessible in one place. This meeting that we had came about actually from a podcast Nancy did about a year ago, focused on military caregiver leave, where she connected with 2 women whose spouses were in the military and talked about their experiences and how the presence of paid leave would have made a significant difference in their and their spouses' experiences when they returned from combat. So through that meeting, we were connected with an individual who has invited us to participate in a yellow ribbon event. We're actually going to be meeting with her later on today to talk more details, but really excited about this program. I just kind of have some information on the screen that I took from the website to just sort of explain what this program is all about. But essentially, it's something that, again, kind of brings all those services that are available to National Guard and Reserve members and their families under one roof in one place. Connecticut's event will take place on June 9th. And so we will be there to hand out information, provide information, And I just have to say that this meeting that we had up in Hartford was so well received by all the different folks that were there. They had so many questions and were so thrilled to hear about the changes to Connecticut FMLA, as well as the paid leave program and what it can offer to these military members who hold civilian jobs as well and their families. So we'll update you on that as we get more information, but that's a new event that we're excited
Awesome.
about.
Sorry to interrupt. Could you make your screen
Sure.
full screen, Jessica, so we can see a little better?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I always do this because I have two screens, and so it looks full screen for me, but let's see. I think I might be sharing the wrong screen. Let me just try to readjust that. Telling you, I'm out of practice with Zoom. I don't know why. Does it look full screen now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Okay, good. Sorry about that. I'm gonna have to practice on the weekends or something, so I stopped sharing the wrong screen. Next up, just wanted to share some of the recent Did You Know press releases. Just as a reminder, this is something that we work on with Ethical Influence, our PR consultant. So in order to just make sure that we're constantly putting information out there to the press, we do about once a week, we do a release that we send out to the media about a different aspect of the program that might be lesser known. So some of the recent ones we've done one talking about the importance of alerting the authority if there are any changes in someone's return to work, if it's an extension that they need, or if they return earlier. We've also done one about intermittent leave and just the fact that, you know, many people may not be aware that there are circumstances that would not necessitate a continuous block of time, and we want them to know that intermittent leave is available. And then we also always try to tie the program into any sort of awareness months that are happening. So April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Therefore, we did one focused on family violence and the fact that, you know, victims of sexual assault who may be experiencing any sort of a physical or mental serious health condition can potentially take advantage of the paid leave program in order to have some income replacement while they address those concerns. So Medium is the forum where we keep all these now for easy access and ability to share through our social media channels. So that's linked in case you would like to read any of those. And then lastly, I did mention this event in the board meeting, but have a little bit of additional information to add to it. So on May 11th, we will be at the AquaTurf Club to participate in the statewide Hospice and Palliative Care Summit, which is put on by the Connecticut Association of Healthcare at Home. So this will be reaching caregivers in this space. And we are also going to do a geofencing campaign around the location. So anyone who enters sort of that virtual fence around the AquaTurf Club on May 11th, we will be able to retarget their mobile devices with our messaging. And then we'll also create what they call a lookalike audience in order to extend that reach with other folks who work in the caregiving industry. So this is the first time that we're experimenting with this kind of a geofencing around a particular event. So I'm excited to see what the results are. We'll definitely track and report back in a few months when we have some good data to share how that worked out. And as I said, quick update today, but I'm happy to answer any questions about any of those initiatives.
I see Ava.
I was wondering, which geofencing company do you use?
Right now, I do the majority of our geofencing through Ferocious Media. They are affiliated with Connoisseur Media. I do a little bit of geofencing through our partners at Miranda Creative as well. As we move into the new fiscal year, I'm going to be just sort of re-reviewing all of the companies that we work with. And I am actually meeting with Odyssey today, I believe, with their sort of national rep who handles their digitals to get some information from them. So my point in saying that being, if you have any suggestions for digital companies that you think I should meet with and look into, definitely welcome that, because I always want to make sure that we're getting...
And I've worked with 3 different companies in my other roles, and I would love to touch base with you and talk about, success, click rates, and yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Offline.
I'll message you afterwards so we can set up a time.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ava. Thanks, Jessica. I'll just say I'm always so glad to hear that it sounds like the authority is starting to break through with military and veterans families, which I know has been like a little bit of a hard nut to crack. I'm actually meeting with one of the policy staffers for the National Military Family Association this afternoon, so I'll get to lift up that Connecticut is leading the way on the outreach piece. That's always exciting. Any other questions for Jessica? Next on our agenda, we have listed a podcast update from Nancy, but I'm not seeing Nancy. So are we skipping that, or is somebody else going to tag in?
I can give a quick update. Nancy's actually, we're doing some tabling at the YW luncheon today. So Nancy's probably on her way there to get set up. So Nancy, as you know, continues to work really hard on all the podcasts. The most recent one that was posted, she actually interviewed an end of life doula, which is just a super interesting concept. But what makes it even more interesting is she also had on one of the woman's clients who she helped when the woman's mother passed away. And that woman is a birth doula. So it was a really, really cool intersection of, sort of the whole continuum of the lifespan. She also just recorded one on multiple sclerosis with a patient and a doctor. Another recent one that she put out there was long COVID. She interviewed one of the leading doctors at Yale who is focusing on long COVID treatment, as well as 2 patients. I just was looking at the stats this morning, and she's up to almost 1,900 downloads since inception, which is great. So we continue to think about new and different ways to promote the podcast, and that's definitely something that if anyone has any thoughts or ideas or suggestions, we'd love to hear.
Thanks, Jessica, for tagging in. I see Ava's got her hand up.
I haven't heard the long COVID podcast yet. Has that come out, or did that one come out yet?
That is out, yes. And I can share the link with you afterwards so that you can access it easily.
Do you know? Well, I guess I can listen to it. I was just wondering if in the long COVID podcast it goes into the possibility of how you get accepted for paid family leave. That's a question that I'm sure there's many people who are curious, and if there's a pathway to clarification in the podcast, it could be used to market it and then promote it in other COVID conversations and roundtable talks.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, she does, I believe, discuss sort of more in the context of what is the criteria for a serious health condition, and then if long COVID falls into those criteria, then yes, it would be. I also do have a video I can share with you that just talks about a serious health condition in general and what are some of the different things that might make something rise to that level of definition. So I can share that as well.
Do we have a video that's on specifically COVID and serious health condition? Because I know this keeps coming up over and over.
Yeah, yep, we do. I'll have to, it's on our YouTube, but I'll dig it out and just see if it needs any updates because I made it a little while ago. But yes, we do. And we also do have, information on our website, kind of front and center on the homepage about, if you're applying because of COVID, read this first. So we're definitely trying to get the word out there. And I will say that I tagged, the woman, the doctor from Yale, and I tagged Yale School of Medicine, and they did a great job sharing it out. So that was really, I was happy to see that as well.
That's great. I think if we already have content that goes into this, it might be a good opportunity to re-promote that along with the podcast. Since I'm always in favor of repurposing work that's already been done.
Me too.
Any other questions for Jessica as Jessica or Jessica as fake Nancy? Okay. Then I believe next up we have a legislative update from Maddie.
Great. Good morning. I'm gonna share my screen. Am I muted? No. Okay. Okay. Can folks see my screen?
Yes,
Okay,
we
still
can.
getting used to the two screens too, Jess. I hear you. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm just going to share some really quick legislative outreach updates. Gonna have a short presentation as well today. Why can't I change my slide? Okay, there we go. So last week, Erin joined a roundtable hosted by Senator Murphy to highlight the importance of policies like paid leave to working caregivers. The event featured a really great discussion with Senator Murphy and caregivers from organizations like the Alzheimer's Association, AARP, and Autism Speaks. Erin also provided a presentation to members of the Progressive Caucus of the legislature last Friday that discussed the status of claims and service levels, different outreach and education efforts, and what we're working on and monitoring this legislative session. Jess and I are preparing a similar presentation to the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus for this Saturday through Zoom. Next week, Jess will also be a panelist at an event coordinated by the Northeast region of the Department of Labor's Women's Bureau, which we're really excited about. The event is honoring the 30th anniversary of FMLA and also highlighting the importance of equitable paid leave policies, specifically for victims of violence. So we'll be joined by the Women's Bureau and then different community partners from here in Connecticut. So that's going to be a great discussion as well, and that's through WebEx, I think. On the same day next week, it's a busy week, Erin will participate in a panel discussion as part of WBDC's Women-Owned Business Day at the Capitol. Nancy and I will also be tabling at the event at the Legislative Building in the morning. Lastly, we're just making final touches to our updated legislator toolkit, which we are aiming to release by the end of this month, and we'll include in our next legislator newsletter. I also discussed this at the board meeting last week, but we are continuing to monitor different bills related to paid leave that could potentially impact our work, specifically Senate Bill 1179 and Senate Bill 1223. So as the legislative session continues, we're just keeping a close eye on those bills and also other developments, as we enter the final weeks. It ends on June 7th. So that's all I have. I can answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Maddie? I see Justin's off mute.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we thought about doing a blurb to give the legislators that they could include at their end of session newsletter that they send out to all constituents.
Yeah. That is a great idea. Thank you. We can definitely do that and include something along those lines in the May newsletter that we send to them as well.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and probably
thank you.
get it to the aides and comms is probably,
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a thought I had while you gave your presentation. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Anything else? Well, thank you for an excellent update, especially since we did get a longer update the past week. And with that, any old business anyone would like to raise? Hearing none, any new business anyone would like to raise? Okay, anything else for the good of the order before we move to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion from Ava, thank you.
I'll second.
Second from Justin. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I am counting that as the ayes have it. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a wonderful morning.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.